It's better than an extra pair of hands. This robot cleans the floor of Geert-Jan's stable.
A cow produces 27 litres of milk a day. For that, eats 40 kilos a day and drinks up to 100 litres of water.
That means they excrete lots of solids and liquids, which, when mixed, are a large source of nitrogen emissions. To cut back on this pollution, this farmer has invested in this special floor, which separates urine from dung. But it's not enough to meet the requirements of the Dutch government, which needs to reduce nitrogen emissions by 2030 in order to comply with EU environmental standards. Geert-Jan could have to part with 40% of his cattle.
If you have to reduce by 40%, it's 40% less income. I've built a new stable. If I have 40% less income, I can't pay my bills.
But since the last regional elections, farmers have regained hope. Set up in 2019, the Farmer Citizens Movement has come out on top in all of the Dutch provinces. The party has promised to force the government to do a U-turn on its nitrogen reduction plans.
It gives me hope. I feel some faith in politics has been restored again.
The reason this farmer might be forced to downsize is that he lives close to this Natura 2000 zone, the biggest in the Netherlands. Here, Arnold van den Berg has warned for years that biodiversity is rapidly declining. The cause, the amount of nitrogen in the soil, one of the highest in the European Union.
It is really, really acidic. This pH is mostly below 3. So the Coca-Cola is 2.8.
That acidity is due to intensive agriculture. Despite its size, the Netherlands is one of the largest agricultural exporters in the world, especially of cheese, flowers and meat.
These marks are tunnels of particular larvae of beetles. They can profit from increased nitrogen in the wood, and therefore they thrive in these forests. But the trees, well, they cannot stand them, and they die from that.
The nitrogen plan aims to buy out farmers who are located close to these protected areas.
The nitrogen plan is falling short because there's a blanket of nitrogen covering the Netherlands, and that has to be resolved. And then just looking at sites, farms just outside Natura 2000, it will help. But we have to take measures to restore soil quality in the natural habitats.
Greenpeace wants to force the Dutch authorities to take action now. The NGO is preparing to sue the government to force it to lower emissions 5 years earlier in the most vulnerable Natura 2000 areas.
The next few months there will be a lot of noise, delays and also a lot of disappointed people who were told that nothing had to change because there actually wasn't a nitrogen emission problem, or that it's just Brussels bureaucracy, but then who discover, alongside BBB, that nature's about to collapse and that science is screaming bloody murder and that the law is very clear. Something will need to happen now.
Some farmers did not wait for the nitrogen crisis to change the way they work. When Roel took over the family business 7 years ago, he decided to drastically change operations. This young farmer keeps just 45 cows. He believes the measures the government proposed don't tackle the root cause. It's the country's model of intensive agriculture that needs an overhaul.
Why would we take calves from Lithuania, then fatten them up here? The manure we then have to get rid of in Poland, and the calves go to Italy for calf meat. I don't see that as an ideal solution because you're continuously moving animals, manure, raw materials. So I think you're better off creating a regional food chain.
In the meantime, the results of the last regional elections have thrown the governing coalition into crisis. The Dutch Prime Minister finds himself in a tight spot: how to diffuse public anger while still adhering to European environmental standards.
We will discuss in depth what happened in the elections, but also the underlying, let's say, dissatisfaction in society, which is broader than nitrogen.
The nitrogen crisis has caused other crises. Building also emits nitrogen. In 2019, a court ruled any new construction must be within European limits. Some regions no longer build at all. The business lobby wants the government to relax the rules.
Building a house or a block of houses, that is a temporary thing. Farming produces nitrogen emissions every day. We see that the Netherlands has been at an impasse for almost 4 years for many projects.
To fight the housing crisis, the Netherlands aims to build 1 million homes in the next 10 years. But reaching that goal looks elusive without solving its nitrogen emission problem.